Hey everyone, welcome back to My Michigan Farm Life. My name is Kelvin, and thought I'd take a minute to just make a shorter video. I want to introduce myself. We've gotten a lot more subscribers since the last couple videos went out. We started out, the last video was just celebrating that we had 100 subscribers, and within a day after that we hit 200, and now we're at a little over 400. So it's pretty crazy how fast we're getting more viewers. So I realized that I've never actually taken a chance to like really introduce like the farm and what we do. We just kind of started making videos, so I thought I'd start by going through the cast of characters for all of our equipment. So this is our John Deere 530. My dad restored this tractor 15-20 years ago, and it's all washed up. We had it out for a hayride last weekend, so we cleaned it up, put some wax on it, so it's just sitting out here where we can take a little bit of a look at it. And we'll head on over to our pole barn here where the rest of the equipment is. This barn here down below is where we keep our feeder cattle. You can see one of them poking his head through the window there. And then up top we keep some straw bales, and then our corn chopper is up there, our flail chopper is up there, and then our windrower, which is over there right now, is parked up there. So we got, this is one of our Hereford cows. We have between 30 and 40 head, depending on the time of year, and we're having calves right now, so got a few more. And this is our shed of poor equipment waiting on work. So this is our John Deere windrower. Seen a little bit of that in the last video, and I got home from work today and thought it'd be a great day to take this out and cut all the pastures down. Hold it down here by the shop, check the oil. Oil was a little low. Thought, oh, no big deal, put some oil in it. And you can see the oil cap is suspiciously missing. There should be a big green cap that sits on there, and that is gone. So we're gonna hold off on the pasture trimming until we can find a cap for that hole so it doesn't get a bunch of debris in it. This is our Farmall 706. This is one of our workhorse tractors. We use this for pretty much everything, pulling the wood wagon around. We have a 3-bottom plow that we do a lot of field work with in the spring. Runs our hay bine most of the time. We've got the 630 on there right now because this was on the rotary hoe for the corn. But this is one of my favorite tractors to run when it's running right. We had it out baling hay a couple videos ago and it was having a little engine trouble, and we did have some people who wanted to see a walk around of our John Deere 40 combine. And this, I believe, is one of the first self-propelled, if not the first self-propelled combine that John Deere made. It's pretty fun to use when it works. We haven't actually harvested with it in a few years. The last time we had it out, Dad was doing some oats and a rock went through it and kind of smashed up a bunch of the insides, bent a bunch of stuff up, and we spent a couple winters plugging away at it, putting everything back together. And then of course once we got it all fixed, the engine started acting up. We had some oats planted last year and we got about 10 feet into the field and the engine kept wanting to stall at high idle. So back to the shop it goes. Hopefully we'll get that figured out soon. Luckily we have another one. This is a model 42 pull type combine. Picked this up a few years back, and it usually goes behind that 706 over there. And this is what we ended up using last year to harvest our oats. Usually works pretty good. The old 110, if you watched one of our original videos, you watched me do some belt repair on this. The drive belt's underneath. This is just waiting for a slow winter to get a good paint job, and we got the deck over in that shed where the chainsaws are, waiting to put that back on. Couple corn pickers, wood splitter. That's the sheller unit for that corn picker, which is a John Deere that mounts on our John Deere 630. So when that's not cutting hay, it's usually got this corn picker on it. We try to take it off every couple of years just so the tractor can get used. Otherwise it sits here, 11 months out of the year just sitting. One of our round balers. This is our feed grinder. Use this quite a lot, mixing up ground corn for the cows and pigs when we have them. Don't have any pigs right now. And that's really the bulk of everything. Some miscellaneous implements out here. Some of them are usable, some of them aren't. It's our old wood wagon, you'll recognize that. Cattle trailer. This is a dump wagon. It's actually kind of a homemade deal, made out of an old dump truck box. Someone cut the front of the truck off, put a hitch on it, mounted up a little hydraulic pump, and we got this from a neighbor. Used it a little bit last year, just hauling dirt around to fill in some ruts and stuff in the fields. It's got some flat tires on it, but get those fixed up, it should come in handy. This is it's kind of our back lot. You've seen this in our brush hogging clip from a while back. And let's go take a look at some animals. I think you'll find that our chickens are quite excellent. I shouldn't tell jokes. So these are our chickens. Keep them just for egg laying. They're back in there. We do sometimes have like broiler chickens, but we decided not to do them this year. It's kind of a lot of work. And somewhere in here, oh, in the very back corner there, is a bunny named Peaches. You can see him right there. It's a pet rabbit. We had two of them, Thumper and Peaches. Thumper passed away last winter, so Peaches just lives the easy life in there by herself. Cow pasture out there. Straw bales. This is where we keep all of our wood. Try to get a stock up for winter, so we brought a couple loads up last weekend just to let some stuff get dry, and we'll split some of the bigger chunks eventually. And now we'll go in and take a look at some cows. Oh, hello. This is where we keep the beef, right? Well, they don't like my jokes either. So these are all our feeder steers. A lot of them will be heading off to freezer camp, as they say, in January. For now, they just live the easy life. Eating, sleeping, telling jokes, hanging out with the birds, enjoying the nice summer breeze. So I saved the fun part for last. You probably caught it earlier on when we were going around the barn, but got a bit of an unexpected project. Now you're probably thinking, hey, the tractor's not supposed to look like that. It was all put together the last time we seen it. What the heck? So I was out brush hogging a couple days ago and got a little bit too close to a tree branch, and the muffler did not fare well. Bent the muffler right off. Gosh darn it. But new muffler, so not to worry. But while I had the hood off working on the muffler, we did find that there's a pinhole leak in the radiator. I don't know if you can see or not, but right up here, it looks like at some point it got poked with something got caught in the fan blade and kind of bent some of these little slats on here, and so there was just a ever so small pinhole leak, but every time you'd run it, it'd want to drizzle down into the fan and it was blowing all back over the engine. So we figured better take the radiator off, get that patched. And since we have the radiator off, it's a good time to fix the steering. This tractor has a lot of steering problems. We're hoping we can fix some of them. So the first one, it's best viewed from the back. You'll notice I can do all of this without the wheel moving. A lot of slop. So that's not ideal. And that problem has to do in the steering box here. We're not exactly sure what all we have to do for that, because everything is tight from the steering box up, but from the steering box to the wheel there's a lot of slop. So that'll be a winter project, hopefully. Take the fuel tank off, take that apart and look at it. But also up here, when we put this wide front end on, right in here, there's supposed to be a gasket. First of all, we didn't have a gasket when we put this back together, so we just put it together dry, and so it leaks a lot. But we do have gasket paper now, so we're going to make a gasket for that. And then also there's supposed to be a shim that goes in there to space out those gears where they mesh. So if you're driving this thing and you want to turn, you gotta really crank on the wheel to get it to turn. It's really tight after you get through all the slack. So between all the slop in the wheel and then the gears binding, it's a full-time job just trying to steer this thing with two hands. Don't even think about driving it with one hand. So we have hopefully a tractor show next weekend that we're going to take this to, get the loader back on it. So sometime between now and next Saturday, I got to get that radiator patched. We're going to get the front end jacked up. We got to take, the radiator would have had to come off anyway to do this, so it kind of all worked out. But got to take this plate off, and then underneath it there's a bolt that holds this steering piece on from the bottom, that holds that up. Have to loosen that up, take it out, and then we can put our gasket in there. And we don't really know how thick of a shim goes in there, so we're just going to kind of have to experiment with it, trial and error. Try a little one, try just one shim. We'll put it back together and just tug on that arm and see how easy it steers. When we get it to a point where it feels good, we'll put it back together, and then that should make it more manageable, at least until we get into next winter. And we can dig into the steering box, and then she should drive like the Cadillac of tractors. So hopefully with any luck next week we'll have this out at a tractor show. I'm pretty excited for that. We usually used to go all the time. We haven't done it the last couple of years because all the COVID stuff kind of canceled it, but we used to always bring this tractor and then the 530 out there. They're nice looking ones, but we haven't taken this anywhere to show it off since the loader and the wide front have been put on it. So that should be a pretty fun time. We'll definitely make a video out of that if we can. So I think that's gonna about wrap this up. I just want to say that I'm really grateful to everyone for all the comments that I've got over the last week. I've tried to answer every one of them. I love hearing people's stories about growing up on farms, what seeing these videos reminds them of. It's just kind of fun interacting with people that you wouldn't otherwise have a chance to talk to. So if you have something you want to share, if seeing these old tractors reminds you of growing up as a kid, feel free to let me know in a comment. I love reading them. If anyone would like a more in-depth look at anything that we've got in here or how we do stuff, please let me know. I'm always happy to answer questions, and if it's something involved enough, we can even slide it into a video. And as always, please like, subscribe, let us know what you like, what you don't like, what you want to see more of. I appreciate all of it. So until next time, have a good one. We'll catch you on the next one.